Hi, everyone. I'm really sorry that I'm not able to be there with you guys today. As you know, I've been moving and it's pretty crazy. You know, a lot of you have moved before, so you can relate. I will be back on Thursday. So in the meantime, enjoy my new additions to my YouTube channel. So today you're going to be starting your next part of your reading unit. And today we're going to start talking about strategies for tackling increasingly complex text. And I'm also going to tell you a bit about what this next project will look like. So just like your previous subtopic project that you did with a partner or in a small group, this one's going to be about the events of the American Revolution. So your previous project was about the events leading up to the American Revolution. You're going to choose a subtopic of the American Revolution and you are going to research it. So here are some subtopics that Ms. Phillips, Ms. Schwartz, and I came up with that you can choose from. So you're going to do this individually. You're going to choose any of these things here, and you are going to determine what you would like to know more about as you continue. If you already did, say, George Washington, and you already studied him and the events leading up to, I'm going to ask that you choose something else. But beyond that, it's totally up to you. And I'll put these back at the end so that your teacher can share it with you then. So before we get started, let's think about this idea of tackling more increasingly complex text. What I want to ask you is, have you ever read a full page or article of a nonfiction text and immediately forgotten what you just read? Since some of these topics are new to you, you might not always understand what you're reading the first time around. So it's very important that as you're reading, you're monitoring for meaning. So you have to make sure you stop and check in with yourself periodically as you are reading, to make sure that you understand everything that was on the page. So today what I want to teach you is that when you make a choice to persist in reading a text that's too hard, you'll really want to preview the text and then to read a chunk, pausing to paraphrase what you read. And as you read the next chunk, you ask, does this go with what I just read, or is this something new? So we're going to try this. And I know some of you are probably pretty excited to see the picture that's there. This is the Avatar, The Last Airbender. And I was thinking I might watch the second season of it. This says I've never watched it. I actually have, but I think Miss Phillips hadn't, so she added that here. So I was looking to watch season 2, but I had watched season 1 a long time ago. So I was trying to refresh my memory of what season 1 was all about. So I started to read it and it said this. The season revolves around the protagonist Aang and his friends Katara and Sokka going on a journey to the North Pole to find a waterbending master to teach Aang and Katara. The Fire Nation is waging a seemingly endless imperialist war against the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribes following the genocide of the air nomads 100 years ago. Aang, the current avatar, must master the 4 elements: air, water, earth, and fire to end the war. Along the way, Aang and his friends are chased by various pursuers, banished Fire Nation Prince Zuko, along with his uncle and former General Iroh, and Admiral Zhao of the Fire Navy. All right. So as you can see, the summary was a bit wordy and didn't help too much the first time I read it. So I needed to stop and chunk it into smaller pieces and then paraphrase in my own words in order to check for meaning. So watch as I do this now. So the season revolves around the protagonist Aang and his friends Katara and Sokka. Okay, so I'm thinking about what that word protagonist means. Some of you might be saying, oh, I know it's something like the main character. And I remember Aang was the main character in season 1, so that makes sense. Okay, so they're going on a journey to the North Pole to find a waterbending master to teach Aang and Katara. Okay, I'm remembering that master in this sense means somebody who's really good at their job. So it's helping me to recall that Aang must be learning about waterbending. The Fire Nation is waging a seemingly endless imperialist war. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay, so the Fire Nation is waging a seemingly endless imperialist war. Okay, so they are trying to get more land and they are trying to get more power over everyone else, and it is seemingly endless. That means it's been going on a while, okay? Against the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribes following the genocide of air nomads 100 years ago. Okay, so it's like the Fire Nation is against the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribes following the genocide. I know that means a mass killing, wow, of air nomads 100 years ago. So this has been going on for a long time. I'm going to pause here. I'm at the word Aang in the middle of this paragraph. Your teacher can pause and you guys can talk about this second part and make sure that you understand what it says in the same way that I just said it. So you might be asking yourself, You might be asking yourself, why are we talking about Avatar? Although I'm sure some of you aren't very upset about that. But what does this have to do with the American Revolution? So here's the deal. Whether the text you're reading is about a television show or about the surrender at Yorktown, if it's really too difficult for you to read easily on the first try, the wisest resource is to inch through it, paraphrasing as best as you can. When you move from one part of the text to the next, it helps to ask yourself, does this fit with what we read earlier? Or is it something new? Just like we did together. So today, as you read, if you come across a part of your nonfiction text that's too difficult to understand, pause and chunk it into more manageable pieces. Paraphrase using your own words to help you make more sense of it before moving on. So as I mentioned earlier, you're going to do this research project individually with a subtopic of the American Revolution, and you are going to be able to choose how you want to present that information to others. You can pick either a newspaper, a pamphlet, or a book. So we're going to talk a little bit about what each of those will look like. Here's an example of a newspaper. As you can see, there are headings, there are columns, there are different stories that all have to do with a central topic. So this is what your newspaper may or may not look like. These are examples of books. I know you guys are familiar with books. There are always nonfiction books, like a standard nonfiction book, or there are stories about nonfiction topics, and you could choose either or if you chose this way. And finally, there are pamphlets. So I was thinking when we were in Mount Vernon, and a lot of you picked up the pamphlet there, that this might be something that you could emulate in your own research, thinking about how a pamphlet has different pages with big pictures, subtopics of that subtopic on each page, and gives a lot of information about the topic that you're researching. So the rubric is going to be the same no matter what you choose. If you choose a newspaper, if you choose a book, if you choose a pamphlet, no matter what, you're still hitting these same things, which should be very familiar to you because it's the same idea as your group project for the subtopics leading up. So you need to give a clear description of your subtopic with many details that answered who, what, where, and when. You need to explain why your subtopic was important to the American Revolution. In your chosen vehicle of how you're sharing this information, you must write at least 2 3 to 5 sentence paragraphs about that topic, including key vocabulary with the definition, either in a glossary or explained within context in the paragraph itself. And then you need to choose 2 text features that we have here that we've learned about throughout this unit: a timeline, a caption, a heading, a diagram, a text box, or a quotation. Your quotation could be from a primary source, or you could use a sentence stem, as we've talked about, like according to, and reference another research paper or book about your topic. And then, as always, you need to think about your proper spelling, capitalization, punctuation, grammar, all of that good stuff. And eventually, early next week, we'll be presenting these. So we're also thinking about how you can give a clear and concise presentation to your peers on your subtopic. So I know this is a lot of information and you may have questions, and I will be back. And also I'll be back on Thursday, and also before then, Ms. Phillips and Ms. Schwartz are there to help you if you have any questions specifically about what your topic might look like and any of that stuff. So please feel free to ask them. I've put the topics here again so that you can go ahead and choose one. And today you're really just going to start taking notes. So there'll be a note-taking document on Google Classroom that you can use to take notes as you're researching your topic today. We can use the book cart that Ms. Rothenberg got for us so nicely, and you can also use your computers to do research there. All right, so good luck, everybody. I am so excited to see and hear what topics you've chosen. I miss you all very much, and I'm excited to be with you guys soon. And I hope you have a great day.